the Mediterranean over there. And you see?
Yeah.
Now you see Samaria where the chimneys are. And we took this road, the ancient road I was talking about that is called the Via Maris. Remember that name? The Via Maris, Via in Latin is road, Maris is sea. The road of the sea that comes from Egypt, and over there where the chimneys are, it's split. To this direction we did say Babylon, Persia, and Assyrian, Damascus. And if we would have continued along the coast, we would have gotten to Lebanon and Syria too. So this is the this would be Highway 66. At least. Okay, if we continue, I would say that over there are the mountains of Samaria. To this direction. Way in the horizon, we see the mountains of Gilead. Just where Moab mountain end and Gilead start toward the north. And we are facing now a valley. A valley, I think I told you on the first day we came, is the food basket of every area. Okay, look at that. Valley is the food basket. But valleys were also the perfect battlefields. As you would have one military on one side, another military on the other side, and then crash into each other. And this valley is called Jezreel. Not Israel, but Jezreel. The meaning of it, Yisrael, is God will, when you throw seeds, you say? What? Sow. God sows. That's the, if I translate the Hebrew word, Israel, the valley of Jezreel, it's God sows. And this over there, if those are the mountains of Moab and Gilead, it means that under there is the Jordan River that flows all the way to Jerusalem. And the valley goes and cuts the width of Israel. Goes from there to the left all the way to the Mediterranean. You see it over there, the Mediterranean, behind those trees, it continues and hits the Mediterranean. So this is the valley. Now, we did say the valley is a battlefield. Let's look at the mountain that looks like a dome. Can you see a mountain that looks like a dome? That's Mount Tabor. Mount Tabor has two stories. One, book of Judges, chapter 4 and 5. Deborah fighting with Barak against Sisera, the general of Yavin, the king of Hatzor. You don't remember the battle? Incredible what they have done. They made so that the Israelites were at that time only tribes, not a king. And the king of Hatzor, who was a very strong king at his time and reigned all over and took taxes from all the countries around, and the tribes decided to try to get rid of him. And Deborah called everyone in, I would say around January, February, to the top of this mountain where they declared war against the king of Hatzor who came from this direction. Now, King Hatzor was so strong because he had over 400 chariots. Chariots in the ancient time were tanks. And the Israelites didn't have no tanks. So she figured and told, she didn't do it herself, I mean, she gave the orders to a guy named Barak. His family name was not Obama, it was just Barak. And she told him, you will have the battle in January, February, down here in the valley. And why? Right now, if you look, you see the bridge. You see the bridge? I'm talking about the big bridge. Then you see a smaller, more to the left, another bridge. not on the road. There's
That
a
one.
big bridge that goes to the far direction. But if you go to the left, you say bridge on pillars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right
And
here.
by the bridge is vegetation that grow along with a sort of a circle and goes under the big bridge. And on the right side of the big bridge, you see a little bit of water.
Uh-huh.
Well, this is the Kishon. But
See that little bit of
2,000
water?
years ago, it wasn't the size of the Kishon. Here it was much wider, and during the winter time, it used to flow over and flood the fields around. What happens? The Israelites came down from Mount Gilboa to here, and Hatzor sent his tanks, his chariots over. He didn't know what will happen. They sank in the mud and couldn't be used. And the Israelites jumped on them and killed the people and won. There's
They
another
were so
story
shocked.
that there was the
Weighted
general
down by
Sisera ran away over there to Megiddo, where he hid in a tent of the tribe of the father-in-law of Moses, Yitro. His tribe was living over there. And he came to the tent and said to Yael, the lady, I want to hide over here. She said, don't worry, go to sleep, I'll guard. And then she took a hammer, a chisel, and knocked him off. Since then, when a lady tells me, go rest over there, I'll take care of her, I don't. But never mind, we won't start this story here and now. I'll go into the other details afterwards. But Mount Tabor is also, does it ring a bell? What story has it got to do with Jesus? According to the tradition, transfiguration took place there. Elijah, Moses and Elijah on both sides. Right? This is the mountain with the dome. You see the mountain with the dome? Now let's go to the right. And then we see starts a ridge from low to the peak. Can you see? To the right side of the dome, take 3 fingers. This just down there where this ridge starts is a place called Endor. Does it ring a bell? Endor?
Endor?
Yeah?
Lord of the Rings?
What?
Endor.
Good. You should have waited for points. I was going to give 2,200. What you said was the witch, right? Remember the witch that brought up the soul of Samuel for what purpose? To tell Saul what's going to happen in the last battle. And she comes and says, tomorrow the Israelites will be defeated. Your sons will be killed. So will you. What does Saul do? He ordered the taxi, goes to the airport and flies to Texas. Well, I would have.
He went anyway.
He didn't. He went to the battle. Okay, so this is that place. And actually the Battle of Saul took place on the far edge over there, between the top of this ridge, and then there's the valley and the other ridge somewhere in between, and we'll be there in 3 days. We'll be in that part of the battle. So we continue to go to the right. We cross the valley and we now follow the forest on the right side of the valley. We follow the forest, and where it turns to the left, the other trees are going straight, and then they have a little turn to the left, is a white building. This place is called Megiddo. And a mountain in Hebrew is Har. And Megiddo, say it in English, Har Megiddo. Har is mountain, Megiddo is the name of the place. Har Megiddo, Har Megiddo, over there. So if we are talking about the valley of the battles, that's the valley of Jezreel. Now I want to go back a little bit, really quickly, to what David has told us. When I'm here, I really live this story because I can see Elijah sitting over here over there is the Mediterranean. I did tell you when we were in Jaffa and Caesarea that the winds are coming from the west, right?
Yes.
From the sea, from the Mediterranean, Spain, and lift up waves. The Mediterranean is over there. So not only they lift up waves, they also bring clouds with rain in the winter. And I can see Elijah sitting over here like this after the whole thing was done. And he says to his servant, the boy, I promise there'll be rain, right? Now you go and check. Tell me, do you see any clouds? The little boy runs there, comes back, says, I see nothing. He sends him again. And he comes back, sorry, Elijah, I don't see nothing. Then he comes back and says, I saw a little dark cloud coming with the wind that faces us. This is when Elijah got upset and ran to tell Ahab about the whole thing. So this is the part of the many stories you have over here. Of course, I can go on and on. For instance, you see those buildings over here with the red tile?
Yes.
Then you look to the left, there are some big buildings without tiles, and in between them is a flat top hill. This is also a biblical site. Yokneam, one of the 32 places that were conquered by Joshua. You open book of Joshua chapter 12, you see 32 kings that Joshua fought and won against. One of them is Yokneam and Megiddo too. And so that's, and the last thing I want to show you, well not the last thing, I'll show you another 10. Over there, look where my hand is directing. Look, over there is Nazareth on the mountain. Over there is Nazareth. I want you to put all in proportion of distances, topography, sea, mountains, valleys. Keep it in mind. Okay, so now we know where Nazareth is. We know that Lebanon is over there. But the last thing I want to show you are those two stripes. You see those two stripes in the middle of the valley? Those are runways for airplanes, but not civilian airplanes. This is, I'm not allowed to say let's go. This is the camp, the Northern Air Base we have. They will be giving the first quick answer to an attack from either Syria. From here they go out twice a week to Syria and blow up convoys of ammunition that comes from Iran to Syria, and from there they want to shift it to Lebanon, to the Hezbollah. So they are taking off from here. This is why I said if we'll see any airplanes taking off, we'll know there's
Everything's
war
okay.
going on.
Right.
And if you will look, there's between the V, in the middle there are some houses. The third house, in the middle between the two, they have the 12 windows at the top and 12 at the bottom. The third window at the far upper floor from the left is where my daughter served. I used to stand here, call her and say, we are waving. Meanwhile, she was released, she's in the university. So here, and with this I'm ending, here they ran down Mount Carmel to the Kishon. I showed you the Kishon. You see the little water that is left. By the way, the water you see a little bit more. And you can live and see the topography of the story. If there are no more questions, we can just look around.
So this is the plain of Megiddo?
You showed us everything.
This is the plain of Megiddo then, right out here?
And the valley of Jezreel. And the plain of Megiddo over there.
Okay.
And if you want the blood to come from Megiddo, it will be through the Jordan River down south.
Where's the Jordan River from here? Is that it right there?
Oh, I did say. It is under the, you see in the horizon, far away there.
Oh, yeah.
The mountains there are in Jordan, in the country Jordan. And under the bottom, the border between us and them is the Jordan River.
Okay.
We'll be driving by it.
And that goes to the Dead Sea?
It goes all the way to Jericho and the Dead Sea.
They've also got signs
Oh, there we
pointing
go.
all the way around.
Thank you.
Judea and Samaria.